happy birthday. It's her birthday today.
I did. Yep. So ladies, Beatrice is our first interview.
Hi, Beatrice.
Hello.
So you're applying to be on the Youth Commission, just so we can introduce ourselves. I'm Marcia Goodman-Hendershitz, City Council person from District 2. So I probably don't live that far away from you. And Johanny, do you want to introduce yourself?
Yeah, sure. Hi, Beatrice. I'm Johanny Cepeda Freitas. I am Councilwoman of District 6. So welcome to this interview process.
Thank you.
Okay, so just a little bit about yourself and why you're interested in the Youth Commission.
My name is Beatrice. I am a third-year student here out of Rainier University. I am a recipient of the Reading Collegiate Scholarship Program, and for the first time, I will be an assistant coach for the Girls on the Run this year. And my interest in the Youth Commission is to be a lot connected with kids throughout our community. I have siblings, and I would like to just get engaged a little bit more with the community. I know Alvernia helps a lot with the community, and I just kind of want to like continue that.
That's really great. And congratulations for Girls on the Run too. I was at Barnes and Noble, I guess on Saturday, they had a table up there.
Mm-hmm.
It was great. Okay, well, what do you see the importance of having a Youth Commission? Why do you think that's important?
I think it's really important, especially here in Reading, because there's a lot of violence, there's a lot of things going on through our community, and I think that shapes a lot of kids and who they become later on in life. And I think if we are able to understand them now and help them now, I think we can set them for a better future.
Okay, so you see the Youth Commission being able to do that then?
I do. I obviously don't think it's like it's something that happens overnight. Need a lot more committed people to help understand kids and, you know, take everything step at a time.
Yeah. And I appreciate your very wise statements on that. Yeah, taking one step at a time. That's incredible. And we really are so glad that you applied. So I'm going to turn it over to Johanny, and then we'll probably just continue to have a dialogue, Beatrice. Okay.
Beatrice, what do you think are some of the issues that youth facing today in our local community?
The main one I believe is an issue is violence.
And how do you what kind of programming or activities or events can the Youth Commission provide to tackle that?
I believe girls or boys and girls, all of it is one of like the big ones here in the city. And then again, like Girls on the Run for young girls.
And by the way, congratulations on your accomplishments. I meant to say that before I started with the questions. So what are you looking forward to do, like within your first 3 months of being assigned to the Youth Commission?
Maybe, I'm not sure, if I'm being quite honest.
I think that's okay if you're not. I think it's just you learn and you listen, and then you decide where you want to go.
And I'm sorry, for the tough questions, but right, obviously this will be your first go around. This commission is relatively new. But how do we get, I guess, the youth to be more engaged? Like what would an ideal community look like to meet the needs of the youth? Like what do we need for our youth to, I guess, not be so engaged in violence?
I think bring a lot more like opportunities and programs. I know like for Girls on the Run, it wasn't something that was like advertised or like spread around as much as it is now, I guess. I never knew about Girls on the Runs, and it's been a program that's been around for years. So like if that opportunity or program was presented to me during my elementary school years or middle school years, I would have definitely be involved in it, but it wasn't. So I think that's one of the things that we can do in order to like bring everyone together, or at least the youth together.
Great. And one last question on my part. Are you able to commit to the time frame and the hours of when the youth commission is required to meet and so on?
Yes.
Thank you, Beatrice. I'm going to pass it right back to Marsha in case she has anything else she may want to add.
Yeah, just a quick question. I was looking on her, where do you live exactly in District 2?
1242 Eckerd Ave.
Okay, gotcha. I'm at 15th and Fairview. That's why I was wondering. Okay, so the Eckerd Avenue is really, what would you think when you see things happening in the neighborhoods? What do you think are the things that youth could be doing to make a difference?
In my neighborhood, or
Yeah,
like,
yeah, your neighborhood, just as, because that's what you're most familiar with.
I actually been living there for only a year. I used to live on 1328 Linden Street.
Right.
So could you repeat your question again?
Yeah, I was
Sorry.
just wondering what you think youth could be doing to make a difference in their community or neighborhood, just by what you see happening where you live in the city.
I think one of the things that I would want to see a lot more is maybe like community service, kind of see each other doing a lot more for the community instead of, doing other things, I guess, like trying to substitute things that they would be doing with something positive.
And that's a really good example. So rather than being on the cell phone all the time or doing whatever people do, doing more community. And I didn't mean that as a criticism for, that kind of media, but I just feel I see the same thing you're doing is, not a lot of service to the community. Well, I think it's really good. Once you join the Youth Commission, they're at a certain point in their process where they'll welcome you on board. You can catch up to where they're at. And then, you can start having a dialogue with what your ideas are, because that's what's most important. Everyone's individual ideas are a part of moving us forward. So do you have any questions for us at all?
No.
Okay. So the process is, your application will be presented to City Council at our next meeting. I believe that's on the 28th. Am I correct, Shelley? And council votes on it because it has to be a part of a formal process. And then you will be contacted and been given information and such about how to move forward. Okay.
Okay.
But I'm very honored to have you representing District 2.
Thank you.
Stay in contact.
Okay. So I think you can probably just sign off now if you'd like, unless, again, any other questions for us?
No, that would be all. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye. Stay dry.
Mr. Dorward is with us. He is next on the agenda, and he is interested in serving on the new Equal Business Opportunity Board.
Good evening.
Good evening. Okay. So just to start off, Johanny, do you want to start or do you want me to?
I can start. Hi, Bill. How are you?
You know,
I'm doing well. Yourself?
I'm good, thank you. So tell us, why are you interested in serving?
Well, I'm always interested in giving back to my community, number one. About 15 years ago, I moved into the Berks County area from Lehigh County. This board process, if you will, I'm very interested in sitting on this board to make sure that everyone has an equal and fair opportunity at the bidding process. One of the things that I do on an everyday basis is I'm a business agent for the sheet metal workers. And it's one of my jobs is to go out and help all contractors. I know it's not looked at as that in so many ways on an everyday basis, but it is the truth. You know, not only do we represent union contractors and workers, but we represent the unrepresented workers and contractors in the same stance also.
Thank you, Bill. And so obviously the Equal Opportunity Board is pretty new. This is it's a new start, a new beginning. What are you hoping, I guess, to create? I think you would be one of the first members being interviewed for this board, if I'm not mistaken. But what are you hoping to maybe get started or initiate within the first 3 months?
I guess that's a pretty good question. When I look at it as the term Equal Opportunity Employment Board, I'm looking at the term of it in general: equal opportunity, women's rights, minority rights. I'm looking at all those different avenues. And again, I've got to relate back to what I do on an everyday basis. I'm going to go back to why I'm interested, and just to reamp right from the start. You know, as a young kid, I got to watch my father do this, the position that I have here. So I got to witness him fight for the little guy, the working class, the minority issues that go on, the women's rights fights. I got to witness all those things. I got to hear those things at the dinner table. I got to see him help make sure that everybody was ensured that right, for a fair opportunity, a right to those equal rights. I believe in a lot of different instances, you know, that contractors, especially when it comes to women or even employees, across our country, not just in Berks County, but across our country, I think that equal pay, equal rights when it comes to businesses aren't done in that certain fashion. I think that this country, not just Berks County, not just Lehigh County, not Philadelphia, this whole country, I think is still at a standstill where they believe that these things are in a man's world yet. And I think it's a farce. I think that we need to take a step in Berks County. I would love to lead that way and help change the dynamics of what it is and what should be done. Not sitting here saying that I have all the answers, because I clearly do not. As you said, this is a brand new board. But as of with my job, and Johanny, I've met with you. I have a lot of passion, willing to dig in and bring that passion to this board. I'm looking to do what needs to be done here to help this all out as much as I can.
And I have to say, your passion is very contagious. Your energy, you know, it's like I could feel what you're describing. So thank you for that. Thank you for your desire to step up and do something, you know, in our local community to help support equal access, right?
Sure.
And equal business opportunities. I'm gonna pass it on to Marcia for more questions.
Yeah, Bill, and your enthusiasm is highly contagious. I was a former union rep when I worked for the county,
Very
and
nice.
I knew the feeling of what you're saying about certain people being disenfranchised because we were
Yes.
social workers and we're mainly a woman workforce, we got disrespected.
Right.
Yeah. Can you think of things you're seeing right now in the city that are examples of where people are being marginalized?
I'm sorry. I missed that. My phone kind of clicked out there.
Okay. Where examples that you see right now happening today where individuals might be discriminated against or be marginalized?
Well, I think you see it in all aspects, all over in different entities, you know, and I can truly relate a lot of this to the construction industry, and I'm going to tell you, it doesn't go on, or I shouldn't say it doesn't go on. I don't allow these kind of things to go on in my particular union because of what we believe in, you know, the rights and the working conditions of all men and women, no matter what color, race, creed, and so on. But you do see it out there in different sectors. You know, you see it in the corporate world and construction world, where a woman or a minority issue will go out there and they will work for that lesser rate because of their color, their beliefs, their religious belief, their woman status, whatever it may be, you know, and it doesn't have to be the fact that it's a wage indifference. It could be a benefit indifference. It could be a time off indifference. It could be you'll never make that next position level indifference. There's so many different avenues here, in my opinion, that are a total disgrace that go on in this country. And if it isn't going to be you or I standing up for this, what are we going to do? Well, who's going to be the person that's going to take that stand and stop these indifferences that are going on in this country? Because it's terrible what goes on here. It doesn't matter who you are, color, creed, whatever. If you're doing the job and willing to take that effort on, you need to be taken care of the same way anybody else is.
Yeah.
And whether you're an owner of a company or whether you're a worker of a company.
Well, I'm so glad that you're putting your voice to this issue, because it goes in like spells where people are advocating and then they just sort of start taking care of themselves and don't care. And it seems to be now, at the time in this country, we're starting to see that there is discrimination and unequal access. So I hope this board can really take on the problem and not make it, because what used to happen is they used to just personalize it. So you were a woman that was complaining, okay? Rather than looking at it as being an overall problem.
Well, I can promise you, I will always stand in front of the line.
Okay, that's good. And this is exciting. We'll be looking forward to hearing from you as this board starts to take shape, you know, what's happening and what do you see as the problems, that we don't let them fester too long. Do you know what I mean?
I don't like to let anything fester.
Exactly. And that's what used to happen. And then, you know, then things would explode. And so, yeah, we need to nip them in the bud here.
Absolutely. Couldn't agree more.
Hey, do you have any questions for either Johanny or myself?
I do not.
Okay. By the way, today is my birthday, and this was a great birthday present to interview you. Yeah, but this was great. I mean, you really re-energized me. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes,
I
you sure
appreciate the
did.
opportunity.
Shelley, did you have a question?
Question, just to let Bill know that you are will be the first appointment to this board. So hold patient while we appoint others so that we have enough. We don't want you to have a meeting of one, but we also don't want you to get discouraged because it's taking too long for us to get the board seated. So
you're going to have me like a caged animal now. You know that.
Shelley, do we have other applicants to interview?
We don't right now, but I've heard that there are others that are coming forward. So I'm looking for their applications.
Okay, so let's keep the applications rolling forward the best we can.
Listen, if there's anything that I can do that this council of yourselves can send me, by all means, Johanny, Frank, they have my email. I'd be more than happy to respond before this thing kicks off, or do any research, whatever I can do for the council, by all means, my cell phone number, email, whatever. I am accessible 24/7.
Be careful what you ask for, because I was just
really.
thinking like, He's the first
this-
one. Maybe we should explore, analyze what seems to be our problem at the local level. What problems do we
Right.
have? Like, what are the issues? What are the concerns? What are the local businesses saying about having equal access or equal opportunities? I'm just curious to know what the business community is.
From one of my understandings is, I believe that in Philadelphia, they had this board. Is that correct?
Mhm.
Does anybody know that?
Yeah, I believe they did.
I'm not sure, because I thought this
Okay.
board was minority procurement board at some point, and then it got changed to this.
I'm sorry, it's Frank. Maybe I can answer that question. What could somebody rephrase that question? Because I was
So,
still
so-
putting the legislation together.
so Frank, I had heard that there was this board was actually created. The same board was actually created in Philadelphia a while ago. Is that true?
There's a lot of similarities. That's correct. When we put this legislation together, we looked at other cities and used best practices. So there's certainly a lot of similarities to what Philadelphia developed.
So maybe I can reach out to one of my constituents in Philadelphia and get some information from them to see where they went right and maybe where they went wrong along the way while we're waiting.
That would be very, very helpful. And we are hopefully very soon to have some more candidates to bring to the committee, because this work for this board is really important. So we hope to get it started as soon as possible. So the mayor is looking forward to bring some more nominations. But yes, Bill, if you could do that, that would be really helpful. So when the board can meet, we can get going right away.
Okay.
Righty, so Bill, we're pretty much done with the interview unless you have any other questions for us.
I do not. I thank you for this opportunity to meet in front of you, to be interviewed with you.
Yeah.
Again, I look forward to bringing my passion and drive to this board, and hopefully we can figure this out.
Sounds good. So
Thank you for
we'll
your
be in
time.
touch. You take
Okay.
care and stay
Have a great
dry.
night. Yeah.
Have a good night, Bill.
Bye-bye, and happy birthday.
Take care.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Our third candidate is Charlie Jones. He is applying to be an alternate on the zoning hearing board.
Hey, Charlie.
Hello, everyone.
Hey. So I guess my first question is, why do you want to get back in the fray?
Well, once it's in your blood, it's hard to get rid of. No, I just want to stay active in some way, and this is a good area for me. I have a lot of experience with the city's ordinances, and I feel I can lend my expertise on the zoning hearing board.
What do you think some of the greatest challenges we face as far as zoning coming now and in the future?
Well, as the city goes through this redevelopment process, there are always going to be new developers who come up with some interesting ideas, some that are very good, some that maybe are not so good. So the challenge is to make sure that whatever happens is done according to the city's ordinances, and it provides a fair treatment process for the applicant, but at the same time, it protects the neighbors of the property to be developed. And it's not just development, but it could be, goodness, I mean, a residential property owner that wants to put up a fence or something that may violate a side yard setback. That's a zoning issue. And there's some very small things, but some pretty big ones too.
Then you talked about development. There's a lot of plans in the making for development downtown. How do you think that's going to intersect with zoning?
Well, it certainly will, because some of these new plans may not conform strictly to the uses that are allowed in the zone downtown or in any zone. So the zoning hearing board is then tasked with having a hearing, listening to the case of the applicant and coming up with a decision on either a variance or special exception, which is the use allowed. Some uses are special exceptions that are allowed in the ordinance, and accessory uses as well. There are just so many different things that need to be considered.
This is certainly a time for change, so we'll see.
Yeah.
Hey, Johanny, you want to follow up?
Hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you. Can't see you, but we can hear you.
Yep. Hi, Charlie. How are you? Long time no see.
Yeah, I think it was.
Right? It's been a while, right? It was just last week. So a quick question. So in your experience, having worked with the city, participating in boards, how often should we be revising or reviewing some of our ordinances? Because I often hear from people that some of our ordinances are very antiquated. I'd like to hear your thoughts regarding the matter.
Okay. Well, there's really three ordinances that enter into this process. One is the comprehensive plan. Not really an ordinance. Well, I guess it is an ordinance, but that's the first one. That should be revised about every 10 years. And then coupled with that is the subdivision and land development ordinance, where you get into the real technical regulations that apply to new development. And then, of course, the zoning ordinance. Both those ordinances, the subdivision land development ordinance and the zoning ordinance, should also be about every 10 years. Now, that's sometimes hard to do with people changing on boards and so on. It often goes longer than that, but that's a rule of thumb that every 10 years, the three of them should be updated.
I think you make a good point, and I'm glad you asked that question, Johanny, because I think we haven't focused our attention on what needs to be updated.
Yeah, many times you might just do an amendment to one of the ordinances if there's a new regulation that might enter into things. I mean, you can do an amendment to it, but you really need to look at the whole picture sometimes, and that's what needs to be done about every 10 years.
Johanny, do you have any other questions?
No, I was just thinking that it sounds like we have to make time obviously to prioritize that, right? Because that's kind of like our roadmap, if you will.
Yes, it is. It is.
And projects, right? Sir, I know you served on the planning commission.
No, I've never been on the planning commission, but what I did do when I was director of public works is I attended almost every planning commission meeting, and I did a review of all the plans that went through the planning commission just from a public works standpoint to make sure that there were no issues that were coming up that the planning commission needed to be aware of.
Am I correct, Shelley? This is for an alternate rather than, would you still attend the meetings, Charlie, even if you were sitting as an alternate?
I would, in most cases, I would, yes.
Okay.
If something else came up, since I'm an alternate, I might miss a few.
Yeah, I know it's a hard place to be when you're an alternate. I've been there before, so. Do you have any questions or recommendations for us at all?
No, I don't think so. But what I was going to say is that's the best way to learn the process too, is to fit in, even if you are an alternate. You get a feel for how the board functions.
Zoning's always been the most fascinating for me, just because of all the different allowable uses within the city and how they all fit together.
Yes.
And now we have, the reason I brought up the downtown is we have all these vacant office buildings, if you may. And how do you reuse all that space when there isn't demand for office space anymore?
Yes. Very true. And, you know, you need to look at issues like parking and, you know, all the stuff that goes with each development too.
Johanna, you have anything else?
For his willingness to serve and to always, you know, to his commitment to the city.
Yeah, always appreciated.
I still live here.
That's for sure. Okay, well, we are going to be making our decision, and then Shelley will get back to you about the status, okay?
Sounds good.
So thanks for your time and nice seeing you. I just saw you recently too, but I can't remember where it was.
At the creamery.
At the creamery.
That's it, okay. Oh yeah, the Penn State thing. I've been dragging all my Penn State friends down there. I just can't believe we have a creamery right downtown.
Yeah, it's great.
Not good for our waistlines though. All righty.
Very good. Thank you.
Thank
Thank you.
Thank you. Take care.
Bye-bye.
So Marcia and Johanny, there was one other thing that we needed to chat today before we adjourn. Last meeting, council enacted the ordinance that would allow members of the electric, mechanic, and plumbing board to serve on the code and license code and fire code
Right.
appeals board. So we need to determine if or what the process would be for those who are interested to be, you know, what do you want to just allow them to be if they say they want to be, or do you want to talk to them a little bit more about it? What kind of a process do we want to use to get the members who want to be on both boards appointed?
Done
No, I
anything
think
similar in the
that's-
past? Oh, so-
No,
I'm sorry that I didn't catch that.
things similar in the past.
Probably the closest thing we have right now is Blighted Property Review Committee, where the Planning Commission and some other thing, they choose their own representative. This would be more voluntary if someone who's on the electrical board wants to also be on the code and license, the fire and building code board of appeals. You know, how do we appoint them?
and I have to be honest with you, I think that the questions you would need to ask are not within my scope of knowledge. I don't know how Johanny feels, but that's not like where my area of expertise is. To conduct an interview would just be doing something for the purpose of having an interview, but I'm not sure whether we'd be able to differentiate either way, whether they're qualified. The most is, do they have the time to do both?
Right,
There's
and
the certification
you've
to
al-
serve, right?
yeah,
Shelley, I'm
and
sorry.
you've interviewed them for their other positions, so do you want to repeat? You know, we've already done the background and we've already done the interview for the appointment to use the electrical board as an example. So they've been appointed to the electrical board. And now they volunteer to serve on the other board in addition. So what kind of criteria or process do you want me to follow with that?
Phil, obviously, right? And our issue typically is because of the certification required, correct?
Correct.
So could it be a review of their resumes to make sure that they have the certifications required to serve on that board? Not making that assumption that they do.
Yeah, we could do that. And if it's just, I don't want to say just, if you want me to provide that just in a document, on an email, and then you give me thumbs up or thumbs down, or if you want me to bring them to this committee, we can do it. It's pretty much wide open.
I'm trying to be respectful of people's time. Do you think you could forward us just their resumes, and then if we have any question about it, we could ask them to be interviewed?
Sure, just in an
Would that
email.
work for you, Johanny?
I mean, if they've been properly vetted, if we can just review and find the right matches, the right fits, and then maybe inform us, so then we can then extend like an invite of some sort. I mean, if we've already interviewed them, right?
Right.
And they're qualified and they meet the criteria, I don't think we need to re-interview them again. I think we'd like to extend an invitation and see if they have the time to serve on that other board.
That makes sense to me. Does that help you, Shelley?
It does, yes, thank
Okay.
you.
Okay, is there anything else? We just need for recommendations from these interviews.
Correct.
I'm fine with all three candidates.
Yeah, same here. Same here.
Is there anything else, Shelley?
Nope, that's all I have today.
I rushed to get home in time and I did, so now I'm gonna take a little
Now you have
20-minute break.
There you
Yeah.
go.
A little bit. Bye.
Yeah. Okay, see you at 5.